Hey guys, it's Barrett with the Camping Camper. I'm going to talk to you about a subject that we've all learned the hard way when pulling a camper or driving a motorhome, right? You're barreling down the interstate. The GPS says you need to get over. Let's say you're in the middle of Atlanta, Georgia, and you're in what you think is going to be a turn lane, and boom, there's no turn lane. So then you're stuck trying to cram over in all these cars, or you got to go past it and then redirect your route. We've all been there. It really sucks. So let's talk about how to get around that. The option that I chose to get around that's the Garmin 770. This little guy right here's got me through a lot. Basically, I'm going to show you what I like about it, what I don't like. I've not got everything on it figured out. I'll be truthful, because this is kind of one of those things that you don't ever think like, oh, I need to see if I can figure that out right now. Because whenever you're working on it, you're like on the road usually, or getting ready to go. I'm a bad pre-planner, I'll admit that. I make all these reservations for campgrounds. I don't look at the route or anything till I'm getting ready to drive. And yes, that's put me behind at times, and you probably shouldn't do that. Okay? So, what I like about it, it's a nice big screen. It's got some voice command. It's a little wonky, doesn't work that well. I recommend that you use the manual controls, not when you're driving. Safety first. Anyway, so, I like it. The main thing that I like about it, which apparently is a common thing on GPSs these days, but it will show you on your next lane change, in a major change anyway, which lane you need to be in. So it'll have like some purple arrows in the 2 right lanes, and so you need to be in the 2 right lanes. Now, the one thing that I've found is I wish it would tell me that a little bit earlier when going through a big city, but I've got a hack for that I'll show you in just a minute. And then, what do you not like about it? Well, I don't like that it's expensive, because it's pretty expensive. It took me a little while to get it, and the only reason that I did is because I knew I would eventually be getting a 5th wheel, which we got hooked up getting ready to go on a trip. But, it's also, on top of being expensive, it is very hard to use. The interface, I've never liked Garmin's interface. It's kind of hard to get used to. There's a couple of tricks and tips that I've learned in just the little bit that I've used it that I'll share with you today. And I hope that it helps somebody out there and helps you decide if you want to get it or not. The other thing that I have not had any luck with is the Bluetooth connectivity. Apparently it does Bluetooth in my phone. I've not seen any evidence about rerouting traffic or anything like that, but I can tell you that it horribly fails when using the live tracker. Because when we travel from Tennessee to Michigan to visit family, I try to share that every time on the tracker. Basically, it shows you on a GPS point. That way people know where you are and that you're okay and all that kind of yada yada stuff. But every time that I've used it, it's failed. It works for a little while and then it just goes away. Now, you will see when I start with this, there's an update that I need to do, and that's been on there for about a month now, and it's another one of those things. You don't ever think to do it because you leave it in the car, and then you got to take it in the house to update it, or at least do it while you're at the house, and it takes like an hour or so. It says to leave it plugged in, and it's just troublesome. Okay, so this is the screen you start from. Basically, if you just want to look at the map, you don't want to put anywhere in, you push that, and it brings the map up and shows you where you are. And then to go back, you hit the arrow over here and on the main screen, and you can tell that you're in car mode up here. Now, that's another thing that's different about this than a lot of GPSs, because this does have areas where you can tell it that you're a car or a 5th wheel or camper. And basically, when you push that, it has the dimensions in there. This is just an approximate length. I hadn't measured mine yet, but this way it takes you around any low bridges or any areas where it calculates where you can't make a turn. That being said, it horribly messed up the first time I used it and took me down a dead-end road. But nothing's perfect, right? So we're going to say that we're in the camper, and we're going to hit agree to this, because basically it's saying that they don't take responsibility if you cut the top of your camper off. And we're going to hit where to. And so here is where you can do a few different things. If you have the address, this is one thing that I've never liked about Garmin, but it always starts with like the house number and all that instead of just like searching all at once, and I don't really like that way. So one thing that you can do is you can save some favorites in saved, and that's kind of hard to remember how to do. You can just tell it to go home, RV parks, but this is what I use up here more than anything, is the search bar, and it seems to help quite a bit. It's a little wonky in getting it to search where you're actually trying to search, but let's see. We're going to Fort Mountain State Park. Let's see if that's in the system here. So Fort Mountain State Park, and it usually searches around the state and like the adjacent state that you're in, and it does have the listings on here. So if you just want to hit information and look at that, you can do that, and that gives you the address and stuff, and that is where we're going. If you want to save that in that favorite folder, this is where you hit save here to put it in there. Otherwise, you can hit go here, or you can go back and you can just push go to start. And then it'll calculate based on where we are. And it'll tell you about the arrival time and the route preview and all that stuff. And you can push this to get rid of that. You can change these settings down here to different things, and your settings are right here just for different stuff. This supposedly you can use as a Bluetooth phone in your car too. I don't use that. But let's say we were on the interstate and we were getting ready to turn. It can't show you this right now because it wants you to go to the road before it tells you to turn or anything. You know, whenever I'll put some pictures later of the turn lanes and that kind of stuff. But whenever, like I say, the problem that I have is that it waits a little late to put that on there for you to be driving something that's 50 foot long or so. And so they'll have like a direction up here in this top left corner, and if you push that, it'll go ahead and show you that preview and tell you what lane to be in a little bit early, like a reminder. I think that's a great option. And I just wanted to show you guys real quick, this is my view when I'm driving. Of course, I'm tall enough to see over this stuff. But you have the GPS next to the steering wheel here, and then you have your cameras here. And on the cameras, if you hadn't checked that video out, please do that. But the top's the rear view camera, the bottom left is the blind side of the left, the driver's side, and the bottom right is the blind side on that side. Those really help you on those blind turns when you're backing the wrong way and you can't see the trailer. These things are great. Now, they're not been as helpful at night, so we got another project coming for that. But stay tuned and follow the channel. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Do not forget to hit that subscribe button.